Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop 3 here on the Chop Sports Podcast Network. Sturch, Gooch, what up? Again, dude, I'll talk about it later. I was going to say we did the set thing again, but we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll talk about it in the other podcast.
It's like the fifth set
We got
change.
a full house again. Ash Mir Fit is in the house, as well as our intern, our lovely intern, Anthony.
Anthony in the building.
Do you prefer Tony?
No.
No,
Just
okay. Anthony it is. Yeah, all right, whatever. Get off the mic. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Chop 3 here. It's been another eventful week. We got some really good ones this week. And we start off with Ariel Acosta. Now, I know you're probably saying, Ariel, is that your real name? Is that really your name? It's actually DJ Mario.
DJ Mario is his actual real name?
I know this kid from wrestling. He wrestled with me. He was the DJ. He's DJ Mario. To me, in my heart, forever. But anyway, he came up with a really good one. His status was the most impressive feat. And we're going to go to the NBA on this one. All right. What is more impressive? Ready? The most impressive. Sorry. That is Reggie Miller scoring 8 points in 9 seconds. There's 37 points in a quarter by Klay Thompson, which is, again, it's impressive. There's 55 points in a half by Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. And then, of course, there's Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100 points in a game. Now, this was debated heavily. I'll throw it to you first because, you're more of the NBA head than I am. I am an NBA guy, but, I think you're more involved with the stats.
Just going through them. All right, obviously, Wilt Chamberlain's was super impressive. 100 fucking points in a game.
That's a lot of points.
I mean, but then you look at the competition that Wilt was playing against, and they're like,
I don't like that excuse.
I think I would have been like a power forward back then, and I'm
standing's 5'11".
I'm like I would probably be fighting at featherweight in the UFC, and I'm a power forward in like Wilt's day. So
yeah, okay.
And that's not to diminish Wilt. Obviously, look at the numbers he put up throughout his career, though. He was averaging like 40 rebounds a game for a season. I got
like an argument with the one guy about the minutes.
So the point that I'm making about Wilt, it's less impressive based on the rest of his career averages. If you look at what he was doing in that span,
all right,
come on, bro.
All right.
And he took, what was his...
So is that right off the bat your most impressive stat?
No, it's like why I'm diminishing his a little bit, and it's not the most impressive stat.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
The Klay Thompson thing is obviously super impressive because I'm pretty sure that's the time he did it on like 4 dribbles. He had like 37 points in a quarter on like 4 dribbles. I could be wrong.
So he was catch and releasing a lot?
Yeah,
like he was just on fire, like NBA Jam? Like he can't buy a bucket.
So in another...
You don't even know about NBA Jam.
While part of that's impressive to me, the fact that he wasn't creating his own shot as much, and it was just like he caught fire and he was hitting buckets that game.
Right, okay.
Right? So, impressive, because obviously to make this list, they're all impressive. Mm-hmm. Kobe, 55 and a half.
That's a little ridiculous.
That's pretty ridiculous. I would say it's about on par with what Wilt did. Because
actually it's more.
A little more, but Wilt. But the thing is, that's what he didn't do. He didn't drop another 45 points in the second half, which is why. But the level of competition that Kobe did it in, and the fact that he was a 2-guard playing against, specific wing defenders, double teams, Wilt was just completely dominant in that era. Okay. Now, I know all you Knicks fans are going to hate hearing this, but you lived it.
I did live it.
And the main reason why I'll say this is the most impressive of all the feats is because it happened in the postseason. Reggie Miller did that in the playoffs. None of these other things were done in the playoffs. If anything, I would say Kobe dropping.
I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah,
anymore.
It was the Knicks. The Knicks had that one in the bag. That's one of the things. That game might have prevented. Did they win that series? The Knicks.
What year was this? 94.
Check and see if the Knicks won. I think it was 95.
If it was 95, then they didn't. I'm pretty sure that's when Ewing missed the layup.
So they lost the series to Indiana.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Largely due to the fact that
I'll never forgive you, Reggie Miller, for what you did to that team.
I would say
not only doing it, but then the whole thing, the Spike Lee when he was like, "Oh, he choked." I'm like,
I would say that's end of discussion. Playoffs, all the bullshit we give these NFL quarterbacks for not winning, other NBA players for not winning and not getting it done in the playoffs. Out of all these things, I would say that's Reggie Miller's biggest accomplishment in his career because he's never won either. Mm-hmm. But
no, he is not.
I wouldn't say biggest accomplishment because he's decorated, but his biggest moment,
right,
so to speak.
Okay.
And it was in the playoffs. I got to give it to Reggie on this.
All right.
Honorable mention, though, McGrady. I forget who mentioned that. McGrady had 13 points in 33 seconds, but he probably did it on like 14 shots. He probably took like 14 shots in 30 seconds. So
all right. So if I'm being honest, I don't give an ounce of a shit the competition level Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100 points in a basketball game is the greatest thing that anybody's ever done in basketball.
I'm going to have you come to my house this summer. We're going to put a basketball hoop, and I'm going to have you line up against my nephews who are 10 years old. I'm going to see if you could drop 100.
They don't want that smoke.
Right? That's my point.
They don't want the
That's
smoke.
The equivalent of Wilt Chamberlain dropping 100 in 1941 or whatever the fuck.
I'm talking about timing. Like, you got to score 25 points a quarter.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And there was no 3-point line back then.
Right. So
but he wasn't shooting threes.
It doesn't matter. So first of all, I'll give mine to Wilt. Again, 4 quarters in a basketball game.
So my least impressive is Dave's most impressive, and probably vice versa. Yeah, vice versa. So go figure.
Because Reggie Miller, you can just, and you still bother me on the air. Yeah, no, I'm gonna. Okay, all right.
All you Knicks fans know what that means.
Yeah. So I'm giving it to Wilt. You're giving it to Miller. So for everybody who participated in that one, thank you, DJ Mario, for that one. As we move on to look at that positioning.
Shit. I couldn't do that if I fucking tried a million times in a row.
That is impressive, by the way.
Ashley, get on that with the
because that's going to go on there as one of the highlights. Don't touch it.
No. We got a picture.
Take a picture of the thing. There we go.
Anthony's like, oh, I got it. I got it.
So anyway, that is a moment in time that you will never forget. So we move on to our boy Kyle, who's responsible for the intro of the Chop Sports podcast and the exit. Yeah. He's a guru when it comes to gambling and
specifically on the NBA, and he did great in the conference tournaments for the NCAA, which I got to reach out to him because I know absolutely dog shit about college basketball.
Nobody knows anything about college basketball this year, man. Nobody does, and I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, he raises a good point, heavily debated on the Chop Sports Facebook page. Matt Stafford finds himself a new home. He's in L.A. now. He's in Hollywood, right? And he's got himself a whole new arsenal of offense. So now, if Stafford plays, he gave it 8 more years that he's going to wind up breaking Drew Brees' passing record, yardage-wise. Is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer? Now, let's just pretend he doesn't win anything. Let's go 8 years and pretend that he wins no Super Bowls. You get no Super Bowls, Matt Stafford, but you get a whole shit ton of yards. Is he a Hall of Famer? And if he breaks the Drew Brees record,
is he going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I have no idea what the NFL is going to end up doing with all these quarterbacks. If you're asking me, absolutely not. Matt Stafford is not a Hall of Famer. I could give so many reasons why.
Okay, but go ahead.
Starting with the fact that it's the era. You know,
it's a passing league.
It's a passing league.
Absolutely.
Why isn't Boomer Esiason in the Hall of Fame?
Should be.
Why isn't Randall Cunningham in the
Boomer.
Hall of Fame?
Big fan.
All right, now we're going to get into dangerous territory if we let guys like Matthew Stafford in and not guys that were like arguably better throughout their career, just in a different era where the stats didn't translate.
Okay.
A la Boomer, Randall Cunningham. Is Matt Ryan a Hall of Famer?
No.
Now I know that you're a Dak guy, but you saw the passing stats he put up last year.
Sure did. Fluffy McFlufferson. Yeah.
So it's not talking shit, and it's not taking things away from people. But Matthew Stafford isn't a Hall of Famer.
Now here's where
he doesn't even have a playoff win.
Right. Neither does Calvin Johnson. He's a Hall of Famer. Figure that one out, folks.
Quarterbacks get judged differently. I will
say this. This is the alarming thing that comes out of this stat, right? Matt Stafford. It says he's Kirms says Matt Stafford is going to play 8 more years of football. That's where I say no, because this boy has been beaten to dust in Detroit. He's gotten ribs broke, fingers this and that. He's hurt last year. You know, I get it. He's going to be more healthy this year than probably ever before. He's rejuvenated, and it's great. But I don't see Matt Stafford playing another 8 years, bro. I don't see that. Therefore, he can't break any other records.
I don't see him playing 8 more years, but let's just say he does, or he doesn't. Fine. Say he plays 6 more years. You could agree that he got 6 more years, right?
Yeah, I look at the year. It's 2021. So you're saying in 2027,
How old is he? 33?
Something
32?
To that effect. Anthony, this is why we hired you, my man. He still didn't pull up the last stat.
Quarterbacks aren't allowed to get touched anymore
this is true.
In practice or the game. So could he do it?
He's 33.
He's 33.
Okay, so in 6 years he'll be 40.
I don't see him playing into his 40s.
I'm not saying I don't know math.
I don't see him playing into his 40s because I don't see there being a starting job for him that late in his career. Right, with the
progression of
with the talent coming in.
And you
now that said, so we'll say 6 more seasons. You know, that puts him in the top 5. If he's not breaking the record, he's going to be in the top 5.
Sure.
If you're in the top 5, are you a Hall of Famer? You would think so.
You would hope so.
You would. you would hope not in this case.
Well,
At least I would.
Yeah, I understand. So Anthony, what? I know you got a stat over there. You're like waving me down. What do you got, dude?
Yeah, so the Lions receivers lead the NFL in drops since 2009.
Okay, so that's yeah, all right.
So that's a good stat, and I appreciate it.
Is it though? I find
it's fairly
meaningless.
irrelevant in this particular case because I'm not talking shit. I appreciate it, and like it is a great stat, but it doesn't prove anything what he'll do in 8 years.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
So
it's like it's not a projected. It's not a projected stat. Now I say that with all the kindness in the world, Anthony. I love what you're doing for us over here, but just particularly in that case, it really doesn't play out. Now I think that this was inspired by the fact that Breeze retired and like he's considered in everyone's top 5, which is absolute dog shit too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I just don't think that you could make the case for Matthew Stafford because then you have to make the case for several other quarterbacks.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Exactly.
No. So sorry, Stafford, you are not going to make the NFL Hall of Fame. And I say it not based off talent, but based off longevity. And you're going to be surpassed by so many people going forward. I wish him the best of luck. Unless he plays the Cowboys.
And not to mention, he's now in a McVay don't throw. Like he's going to, let's see what Stafford does for the next 6 seasons when they're handing the ball off 30 times a game. I guarantee you those numbers go down. Truth. And I'm sure he'll be happy about that too.
Very true.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's less dropbacks.
Maybe some more wins.
Less chances to just,
defense.
Right, less chances to get the shit kicked out of you. So now we move on to the final one, which is posted by Michael Rapino, who you said you haven't heard from since the Tampa
Mike,
Bay.
I haven't, I think it was Mike Iwanku, Maui Mike, who I still owe some Entenmann's, by the way. I've been busy, Mike. Don't worry. I'll hook you up. And I have to message him back about the Razor Ramon shirt that he asked me about. But that's a whole nother
There's a
another
whole
topic.
Conversation coming to you, Hawaii Mike.
Yeah.
You say Maui, I say
But
Hawaii.
yeah, I haven't seen him post since the Super Bowl, and then he drops this fucking, what I think is...
very controversial.
And honestly, like, I'm surprised that it was as down the middle as it was.
Right, back and
considering
forth.
how
Massive
Tyson
response.
has been everyone's fucking hero.
Yeah, so here's what he posted. He thinks he wants to talk about old George Foreman. So George Foreman, who came back, he regained the title. He beat the dust off of Michael Moore. Michael Moore?
Michael Moorer.
Moorer. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why.
Moorer?
Moorer, sure. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he regains the heavyweight championship, right? This kid thinks that old George Foreman and his grill can beat Iron Mike Tyson in his prime.
So the old Foreman at 50 or 40 something years old was beating the 22-year-old fucking killer.
Okay.
Trained under custom auto. Stop it. Anyone that thinks that, even for a shred, is out of their fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind.
So wait, so what are you saying?
So Tyson dominates, kills him.
Oh, I think so too, dude.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Runs through him.
Tyson is one of the most dominant fighters
we'll say,
of not only a generation of history.
What do you want to call Mike Tyson's prime? Do you want to call Mike Tyson's prime
when it was must-see television? He was just knocking the
Tyson's
always off of
look. People just paid fucking $50 a pay-per-view to watch old ass Mike Tyson fight Roy Jones.
True.
He's always must-see TV.
He is.
So I say that
because he bit the guy's ear.
I say these things because Mike Tyson is a student of boxing. He's not just some fucking guy that came in and took your head off. He had the power, but Mike Tyson, when he was under custom auto, was a completely different fighter. He was disciplined. He was training hard. He wasn't doing drugs. He wasn't out partying. He had guidance. When Mike Tyson should have entered his athletic prime at 28, he had the wrong people around him. And
he was a complete psycho.
That version, the version of Mike Tyson that fought Buster Douglas, I won't consider. I don't consider that the Mike Tyson's prime, even though that was his prime age. Mike Tyson at 23 would have fucking killed George Foreman at 40 for something. Killed him.
Anthony, all right, sorry, he's really overstepping here. Anthony, we got another stat, I guess, because you're just like flagging me down. What's up?
All right, so George Foreman had 68 KOs, almost double Muhammad Ali.
I stand corrected. Maybe Foreman gives him a run for his money. 68 knockouts.
So,
dude.
like, all
I
that.
didn't know that. There's a stat. See, Anthony,
I don't know if I like.
Bucks, bro.
First of all, that actually does blow my mind, and
right?
I'm kind of like,
Jesus.
I wouldn't say I'm a boxing buff because I'm not, but I know
I'll ask my brother.
I know my boxing history, and I can't believe that that's actually a real thing. He really has 68.
That's in 81 games.
81 fights.
Well, yeah.
And he's fired again, folks.
Yeah, that's it for you.
He's out of here.
But yeah, that's all that really says to me is that
he's just knocking the blocks off kids.
No, it says to me that Mike Tyson and George Foreman would have been a great matchup in their primes with George Foreman in his prime.
It would have been so fun. That would have been fun.
And I have such a fucking problem with the way. I have to say this because I'm a Lennox Lewis guy. Why doesn't he ever get any rep? I
don't know.
Any mention among the all-time greats?
He was just as dominant as Foreman, I think.
Lennox Lewis is the only heavyweight boxer of all time to have avenged every loss that he's ever had. I think there might have been one guy way back that was undefeated.
That's pretty impressive too.
He lost to Rahman and knocked him out in the next fight. And other than that, I don't think he.
Are you excited about as we wrap this up? Are you excited about the new announced fight that's coming up? I think it's Fury and.
Oh yeah, I love that. I'm glad that these boxers, the heavyweight boxers, outside of
my favorite division in both UFC and boxing.
Well, Deontay Wilder kind of fucked up and talked himself out of that, and COVID fucked everything up. And I give Fury credit because he was in training with some other to fight some other guy, and then once the Joshua thing came about, it got scrapped. He stopped his training, and now we're getting the fight that we want to see. Yeah. And I'll say this: Tyson and Fury, his boxing style would translate into any era.
Ooh. I like that.
He would have been good no matter when.
And that's how you close it. So, with that being said, the Chop 3 will be changing it up a little bit. So, we want more interaction.
Can't wait. I'm excited about this because I got a lot of fucking
interaction. We have it already with the Facebook post, and we're going to continue to do that. But now it's a chance for you guys to finally bring it.
Yeah, so
bring the smoke.
So anybody that wants to get on a podcast,
you want that smoke?
You want that smoke?
Bring it.
You think you have what it takes to sit up here and get your show out there?
We'll give you Anthony's stool.
We pretty much. What are we calling it, Dave? The
Chop Social.
The Chop Social. The Chop Social, and we're gonna keep doing the Chop 3. But if you want to get your stuff out on the airwaves, share it out to your family and friends. We got a platform to get you on iTunes, Spotify, and then if you do well. Then you could get a spot on the Chop Network.
There you go, man.
There you go.
Because we're growing, baby. We're growing. So with that being said, for Sturch, that's Gooch. I got some editing to do. We'll see you next time.